Today we are diving into part 2 of the New Orleans trunk murders. This is Hold My Sweet Tea. Hey everybody, this is Holly.
And I'm Pearl. And we're back for the second part of the trunk stuff. So I just want to say that I think these girls had a song that they wrote and left for the future.
Did they?
Yes.
And what would that be?
My lovely lady trunk.
You got me dismembered.
I drive these brothers crazy. I do it on the daily. They chop me and they dice me. They pack me up real nicely.
Oh my God.
My trunk. My lovely lady trunk. In the back and in the front.
Oh,
and all of that just happened within seconds
right.
of you deciding to do your intro.
That was greatness.
And this is what is mentally wrong with me.
Yes, we need a remix on this stat. Oh my God.
I mean, the trunks were found in different rooms.
They were in the back and in the front. And they were lady trunks.
At least stuffed with ladies.
Yes. So I guess we will. You want to just jump into this one today, or
why not?
We've already had like the best introduction ever.
Right. I'm like, I don't think we could top that. So
I'm gonna be singing Fergalicious all day. So when we last, left off with part 1, we were talking about the New Orleans trunk murders. They had found the women packed in the trunks, and they found the letter that Leonide had written and tried to submit to a newspaper or a women's magazine.
Right. And so,
yeah.
If you haven't listened to part 1,
yes, please do.
Go do it.
Yeah, don't listen to this until you listen to part 1 because it won't make any sense. So when we left off, there was something missing, and it was Joseph and Henry Moity. Like, where are they?
Where these brothers at?
These wives are stuffed and dismembered in trunks, but where are the men at?
No men's, no children's.
Right.
Where are they at?
Kind of goes with your last episode.
Where are those kids?
Most of the time, guess what they look at?
Yeah.
The spouse. So they're like, hey, where are these guys at? Superintendent of Police Thomas Healy set about locating the husbands. Leonide's husband, Joseph, he turned himself in that evening. He had cooperated with the police. He said he had been living at his sister's home on Toulouse Street after he caught Leonide cheating on him. That's when he had moved out, and he...
so he wasn't that far away still.
He was not that far away, because Ursuline is like right up the road.
Yeah.
So he was only a few blocks away, but he was living there, and he had sent his kids to New Iberia to live with his parents, his, kids. So late that night, Henry came by, freshly showered, and had his kids with him, which were still in their night clothes, and dropped them off at the house. He told him what he did, and he left. He said, I'm taking a boat. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
did he take his kids or he just left his
no,
kids
he
there?
left them with Joseph.
Oh,
So
fun
he
times.
left the
They're
kids.
like,
Yeah.
here's some more kids, Joseph. Take these
Right.
to our parents' house also.
Right. Send them up to New Iberia as well. So yeah, at least he did that. He didn't kill his kids, but also I'm not excusing him
Oh, no,
of
absolutely
anything.
not.
But at least the babies were okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear the children were dropped off.
But, when the police started looking, Joseph was like, I'm turning myself in. I'm cooperating with you. After determining that Henry was headed to a Camp Street boarding house in the wee hours of the morning, where he planned to make a getaway by ship, Superintendent Healy radioed 7 ships that were set to sail out of the port of New Orleans that day.
Oh, so he's like,
yeah,
hold on. Don't you go nowhere.
Right. Let me notify all of these ships, so in case there's like a stowaway or something like that, we need to let them know what he looks like. So he told them to be on the lookout for a passenger or a stowaway, anybody answering to Henry's description. He was tattooed and, according to the newspaper, singularly hairy.
What? What does that mean?
I was like, does that mean he's just like body hair from head to toe? Was he a furry beast?
Sasquatch.
A furry devil? That's an inside joke.
Yes.
But he was described as having dark, bushy hair, very dark brown eyes, bushy eyebrows, and a tattoo of a naked lady with a flower in her hair on his forearm.
Oh.
So he was like, had a very distinct tattoo.
Yeah.
And was singularly hairy.
And was singularly hairy.
I was like, does that mean a single hair? Or just like hair from head to toe?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was
That's
furry.
why I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, maybe he was related to the Sugar Flats beast.
Maybe. Tell him don't stay outside too long.
No.
That brown hair is going to turn white.
You don't want to bleach your
That
hair in the
sun is
sir.
treacherous.
Right? So on Saturday, October 29th, 2 days after the women's bodies were discovered, crewmen of the freighter Gem, Gem, not Jim.
Gem.
Gem, it's truly outrageous.
I'm a gem.
That just showed how old I am again. They had reported a man who had begged his way onto the ship using a false name. But the crew later recognized his tattoo from the newspaper stories about the crime.
And his hairy eyebrow. Or his bushy eyebrows,
and his
sorry.
bushy eyebrows and bushy wild hair, apparently. So Henry was found. He was arrested from nearby Bayou Lafourche. So, I guess they had went down into some of the channels and stuff and into the bayou. And he was in Bayou Lafourche. So at first he maintained that the murders had been the work of a red-headed Norwegian seafarer whom he had been forced to assist. That's the wildest.
How did you know so much about the person?
Right.
Were you guys planning this together? Right. And he's like, hello, I am a Norwegian.
I am a red-headed Norwegian seafarer.
I would like to murder your wife and your sister-in-law, and I want you to help me.
I want you to assist me in this murder.
But I wanted to make sure you knew.
Right.
That I'm Norwegian.
Right.
That's important. Also, my occupation.
Right. A seafarer.
Very important as well. The fact that I have red hair is going to help you out, too.
Right. So by Tuesday, November 1st, however, less than a week after the murders, Henry had made a full confession, abandoning his tale of the villain seaman. Sorry.
You don't get to do trunk murders after sausage parties. I mean, sausage ghosts and talk about semen.
Seafarer. So, the afternoon before the murders, they had found out from Nettie, the housekeeper. She reported that she had saw Henry, Theresa, Leonide, and the children leaving the apartment because she lived in one of the apartments too. She had seen them leaving and they were all in good spirits. This, this was the afternoon before the murders, but
okay. So she didn't think anything looked off.
No, but it was that next day when they were like, hey, we're packing our trunks and we're moving out.
Gotcha.
She said Henry saw her and pulled her aside and whispered not to be scared if she and her family heard the children crying in the early morning. So was he already planning on doing this because of their infidelities?
Wow.
And then what tipped him off was them packing up and like, we're leaving tomorrow.
That's just proof.
Yeah.
That this is premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it worse for you, sir.
So it wasn't, oh, I'm going to drink and go into a rage and like do this. He just did that so he could get some liquid courage.
Mm-hmm. So
Henry had worked briefly while living in New Iberia as a butcher. You see where all this is tying in again.
Yes, and I'm getting back to sausages now. The
Times-Picayune gleefully pointed out that the manner in which the two bodies of the women were mutilated and dismembered, indicating a man familiar with his trade. The Orleans Parish coroner, Dr. Rowling, noted the killer's skill with a knife, like the way he decapitated the women, he knew enough not to try to cut through the bone, but cut through the joint. He said the heads had been skillfully removed. So he used his butcher skills to dismember them.
Chop, chop, chop it up.
Right.
Yep.
Henry said that later on he had confessed that his wife didn't say a word or move. She just relaxed and the blood rushed. Well, probably because you bludgeoned her with a steel pipe or a billy club.
And then you went all chopper style.
Right. And then rushing into Leonide's bedroom, he struck her as she tumbled from the bed where she had been sleeping. So he, after he had stabbed his wife or slashed her up, he ran in there and bludgeoned her while she was sleeping. Afterward came the grim work of cutting up the bodies. As Henry stuffed the women into the trunks they had packed hours earlier, it wasn't the departure that they had anticipated.
Well, yeah. No, definitely not. They still left.
They still left, but not the way they wanted to. So in March of 1928, the two murders were tried separately by different judges. Henry was found guilty in both cases, and he was sentenced to 2 concurrent terms of life in prison, kind of like your dude on the previous story.
Mm-hmm.
And he began his sentence at the Louisiana State Penitentiary, Angola, July 6th of 1928.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, same, this situation, it's like, oh.
Did he also want to be a farmer?
I don't think he did, but he may, butcher, absolutely. He appears to have enjoyed remarkable leeway for a man convicted of 2 brutal murders, though.
Oh, great.
Yeah. In 1934, Henry was made a trustee of the prison, meaning he was given responsibility for special assignments and was less guarded than other prisoners.
That also means sometimes, like, I know some of them get to go, like, work off the property
Mm-hmm.
in that case.
So in the summer of 1944, on one of his routine trips to the post office, so he got to go to the post office and drop off and pick up letters, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Henry hired a taxi to take him to Hammond, Louisiana. From there, he caught the Illinois Central en route to Chicago. So he was like, I'm gonna
So
get a
he
taxi.
used his trusty status.
Yes. And he had been doing it for years.
Escape.
Right. But one day he was like, it's escape time.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a taxi. I'm like, are you in different clothing? Did the taxi pick you up?
How is a taxi even okay with picking up some dude in prison garb?
Right. So they didn't say like what he was wearing or anything like that, but picked him up. Maybe he thought, oh, he got out today or something.
Who knows? Maybe he stole some clothes and
could be
stashed them somewhere in the post office. Who knows? Because I don't know what level he was going to the post office at. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I don't know. Is he helping in the post office? Is he only picking up?
I mean, none of it was just details. One of his little routine runs. Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think he was probably dropping off mail and picking up.
I watched Shawshank Redemption one too many times.
Right. You're like, how does this happen?
Like, what was the whole plan? I need to know.
Were they digging a tunnel? No. To the post office.
Right. With Rita Hayworth. Poster over it.
So George Provosky, the superintendent of prison camps in Louisiana, he just seemed unconcerned that Moity had
murderer.
Right. Had grabbed a taxi, went to Hammond, jumped on a train, and well, I guess they really didn't know where he went. They just knew he like escaped. He predicted Henry would just return on his own accord.
Yeah, because all escaped convicts are like, you know what? I've had my fun. Let me get on back to jail now.
Let me take this train back. Go back over there and be like, I'm back.
I got lost at the post office. I'm so sorry.
Right? I got lost. I took a taxi. Somehow I got on a train.
It was so weird.
Right? So he had already served 16 years of his sentence and had a chance of being pardoned. And I want you to react to this in the way it should be reacted to. Pardoned on the grounds of temporary insanity because of his consumption of alcohol at the time of the killings.
Kiss my ass.
Thank you. That's why I said earlier. I said, remember this when I'm
hell to the nah. I want to get drunk every time I want to do something bad. Then
temporary insanity
because I was just crazy because I drank too much.
I read that and I'm like, are you kidding me? So
that is ridiculous. I know for a fact there's no way you're getting away with something like that now. Not that way. But literally, what in the hell?
Yeah. So and while he was in prison, you know, he did all of these like things. He would write. He was a great artist apparently, and he
put
painted
his best foot forward.
He painted a like a portrait of the governor, which actually was in the state capitol for a good while.
Mm-hmm.
It was a portrait by him, and it was Jimmy Davis, governor. So he was liked. He was the trustee and all that stuff. So they're like, you know what? There's no way that this trustee artist, awesome person.
Obviously they just don't care.
Yeah,
like they're like, it's cool. We were probably gonna let him out anyway.
Right. He just got drunk. He was temporary insanity. That's why.
No. He planned this crap while he was sober, got drunk to do
it. When I read that, I was like, oh, Pearl's going to react. Kiss my ass. So,
sorry.
He's still missing, you know. 2 years later, in 1946, Henry was stopped for suspicious behavior by the St. Louis, Missouri police. He admitted his identity just right up front. He's like, I'm Henry Moity. And, I escaped from prison in Louisiana. So they returned him to Angola. So despite his 2-year vacation, the Louisiana Pardon Board recommended his release in 1947.
So he still gets let go.
They were like, you know what? We're gonna recommend you for
spent
release.
2 years out there. You did okay.
You did. We know it. Like we know you did okay. It was fine. As far as we know, you didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, you
so
didn't red rum anyone else.
You know what?
You're reformed. Go be free.
So on March 26th of 1948, Governor Jimmy Davis signed the pardon.
I feel like at that point, it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
He painted you, bro.
Right. And you're like, you know what? He's not a bad guy. He painted me like I was looking good.
Right. Hey, can you paint me again?
Paint me like one of your naked ladies.
I don't even want that image in my brain. Thanks a lot. Oh my God. Horrible.
So 21 years after killing his wife and sister-in-law, Henry Moity was free. After getting out of prison, he was like, I want to restart my life. I want a fresh start because, I killed people. I escaped. I had 2 years up north in Chicago and Missouri, apparently. So
I haven't even thought about my children.
Yeah. I'm not going to contact anybody. I'm going to move to California. So
because they know how to party.
Yeah, California knows how to party.
So he could get drunk and kill a lot of people there and get away with it.
Maybe he went and stayed at the what's the hotel? My brain just went blank. The girl in the water tank.
Oh yeah. Cecil.
Maybe he went and stayed at the Cecil. Every time I try to think of something, I see the picture, I see the water tanks, I know the story, and then my brain goes, we're not telling you.
Yeah, that happens.
Yep.
It happens to me a lot too. I'm like, what am I trying to say?
What am I trying to say? So 8 years later, in 1956, Henry got into a little spat with his girlfriend, Alberta Orange.
Oh, well.
Because she wanted to buy some new clothes. And he was like, nah, we don't have the money for that. So he shot her in the chest, puncturing one of her lungs. She lived, but,
Was he drunk?
Maybe he was temporarily insane at the time. It's a possibility.
He flashed out over those clothes.
Possibility.
I blacked out. I don't remember doing it. I just came to, and there she was, bleeding.
I blacked out. So then he was sentenced to 5 years at Folsom Prison for attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon.
And he got to see Johnny Cash.
Maybe. So Henry died in 1957 of a stroke. So he lived a long time.
Yeah.
He went through a lot of stuff and got to travel the world, apparently.
Yeah.
And killed people.
He lived a lovely life while he murdered.
Yes. Absolutely.
Apparently his only issue, I guess if he would have just stayed single for life, he would have been all right.
Yeah.
Because his problem is the women in his life. He's not the problem, obviously. They let him out.
They drove him to drink. He went temporarily insane. Killed them. Yeah. So throughout his trial and imprisonment, he insisted that he still loved his wife, even claiming to be married in the 1940 U.S. Census after her death. I'm like, okay, sir. Whatever.
Yeah.
So one of the most extraordinary aspects of the sensational trunk murders is how completely they've been forgotten. It doesn't get talked about a lot, or they have, tour guides that repeat tales in New Orleans of more famous criminals.
No, this just got twisted.
Yeah,
is what it sounds like to me.
It got twisted with other stuff.
Twisted with other stuff. He was a butcher, and so they turned him into a sausage guy.
Sausage ghost. So they exclude the murders that the 1927 Times-Picayune proclaimed to be the most brutal committed in New Orleans crime history. I don't know about that now, but it was still pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The trunk part is pretty crazy.
Pretty crazy. It really is. It was said that while Henry was still in prison, he made a proclamation through the bars of his prison cell to a Times-Picayune reporter saying, if I ever get my hands on that Joe Caruso, he's still hung up on Joe Caruso, I'll chop him into little pieces, not big pieces like my wife and sister-in-law, but little pieces. My God, I'll make him look like something that's been run through a sausage mill.
And there you have it.
Yes.
See?
So that's like
he just got turned into the little fabled.
Yeah, with the sausage ghost. So this could be why the legacy of Henry's crime may like persist in another local legend, the sausage ghost, which we, did already. I kind of threw that one in first, and then
they just thought that was better than trunks, I guess.
Yeah. And like I said, it was recounted in the 1944 folklore collection, Gumbo Yaya, about a butcher and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it just got
he was a butcher.
And they were at 725 Ursuline, and he was at 715. So it all just kind of mishmashed in together.
So coincidental. And the HMs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the HMs. And
do you think that maybe that's the way back in the day they just decided to twist little things and make them little sensationalized stories without sensationalizing the actual killer?
Could be.
I don't know.
And a lot of, I know a lot of the tours and things that go through the city and the French Quarter and everything. And this probably goes for all ghost tours in most cities. They embellish.
Oh yeah.
Because they want that audience to be like, oh, captivated and wow, you're like the best storyteller, and they embellish things. And so this is probably why.
Well, it's like the game of gossip. Mm-hmm. You're sitting in a circle and everybody's going to twist something a little bit differently. Right. By the end of the time that
it's a completely
the last person's heard it, it's a completely different story. So, I mean, perhaps that's what's happened here. Mm-hmm. It they took the parts of him being a butcher and saying that he was going to kill this guy and make him sausage grade pieces.
Right.
I'm just like, so then they're like, cut out all the middle.
Todd in there, yeah.
Cut out all the middle, throw a lady in a sausage grinder.
Absolutely. But that's not all.
Oh, no.
In 2002, at 7:35 Ursuline, a disturbed man murdered his girlfriend, butchered her, and packed her remains into a cheap particle board trunk, and then later moved to a new apartment on Elysian Fields Avenue with the trunk in tow. After the man, years later, had left the apartment, his landlord discovered the trunk and its mummified contents in 2005.
So that's in the new apartment, in the Elysian Fields apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but he killed that.
But the murder happened right there.
Right.
Jeez, y'all don't live right there.
Don't
live in the 700 block.
No, not at all. So I was like, that's crazy. Another one?
Yeah. Another one.
But it all kind of just mishmashes into each other, and you get a whole
slew of crazy.
A whole gumbo yaya.
Yeah.
Of stories. But
that's a whole gumbo murder.
Absolutely. And it's just crazy that how the justice system and how things were handled, and
yeah, that's insane to me.
You literally confessed to doing it, and you went and bought the weapon, and
while you were sober.
While you were sober, it wasn't a crime of passion. It was more of a premeditated, this is going to happen because she keeps cheating on me. Like, just leave, bro. Leave like your brother did. Take the kids and leave.
Skedaddle.
That's all you had to do.
Or just let them leave because they were going.
Yeah, they were leaving. You can be like, tell your brother, hey, come on back over here.
Right. Get your roommate back, bro.
Right. Your brother is waiting.
Shoot.
So apparently their sister lived, like I said, on Toulouse Street. So they all moved down there, apparently.
Yeah.
From New Iberia. I guess it was just the appeal of the city, and it was cheap to live there at that time, and all of the jobs and stuff. Crazy. Yeah. So that is the end of the trunk murders, the sausage, the everything.
Yeah. Crazy.
So now I can move out of New Orleans and go do a story somewhere else. But I'm coming back because I have another one in queue.
I was like, we always come back to New Orleans, and we have some stuff that has been, requested that we are going to work in, but it's stuff that I want, like, kind of just taking the time on.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff that's going to be a little longer and probably more than one part too. Yeah. So,
and we've discovered that we have another listener in Australia.
Yes.
So not just one, but two.
Both of you can message us.
Yes. And if you have a story and you want us to cover an Australian story, because you're in the South.
Yeah.
Australia. It's still the South.
It's still south of me.
Yep. It is south of us. It's south of everybody. Yeah. But, we could throw a little Aussie tale in there.
For sure. Yeah. We'd love to. Yeah. Recommend something good.
Mm-hmm. Send us a message.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our stylings in the beginning. As well as the remainder of Holly's story.
Yes, it was awesome.
Our theme music is by Patty Salzetta. And if you're in Louisiana, you guys go check out Wonderkind Band.
Yes.
Because she sings with them and it's great.
Awesome.
And they play in a lot of local places. So you just have to go check them out on their Facebook page and see where they're at. And as usual, please send us a message.
Message us.
Our email is steeped at holdmysweettea.com.
Or you can just hit that little button that says text us.
Yeah, send us a text. Or catch us on Messenger.
Mm-hmm.
We have an Instagram. Yep. You can private message us there.
Slide into our DMs.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you slide? Anyway, let's get off our musical trail over here.
Never, ever.
Ever. Anyway, we are on all the podcasting platforms, so make sure you tell your friends, share a link.
Yeah.
Get them listening.
Like we said, costs $0 to just share us on your Facebook page or your Instagram or anything. And we do keep promising the merch. It's coming.
It is.
I promise.
It is coming. we had samples come and one of them did not look proper.
Yep. So had to reorder that, and
as soon as that gets here and we're sure everything's copacetic.
Yeah, because we want to make sure that it's, quality for you.
And then we will be like, here,
Mitch. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that's all I got for now.
That's all you got for now?
Yeah, because, I always tell everybody to listen to us everywhere.
Right.
I always tell everybody to follow us everywhere.
Listen to Pearl or she'll come to your house.
I really don't know where any of you live.
Right.
Don't be scared. I'm super nice. If I came to your house, I'd probably just be like, hey, let's cook.
Hey, friend.
You want to get a daiquiri?
Yes. We're going to go to the drive-through daiquiri stand. Let's go.
Want to go get margaritas and chips?
Yes.
That's probably all I'd do, really.
That's the best.
Bribe you with margs and chips and guac.
Yes. Midnight margaritas.
Oh.
We'll show up at midnight.
Right. With the blender.
Yeah.
Tell you to put the lime in the coconut.
And some Diablo tequila.
Yeah.
Hold My Sweet Tea is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzz.
And remember, as always, y'all stay safe out there. And just because we're dipping doesn't mean you can't keep sipping.
Bye.
Bye.